So today's video is sort of an example of better late than never. One of my favorite, this may sound crazy, but one of my favorite things when I use my Surface Duo 2 is this dock that I have. It's sort of a dock slash stand. Maybe you don't even want to call it a dock, even though it is called a Duo dock. Basically, it is this 3D printed stand that your Surface Duo can drop down into. It plugs in through that and can charge. You can also plug in a USB-C hub to that dock and then run whatever you want out of it from there. And it works really, really well. And even cooler than that, it is produced by some individuals, right? So rather than buying this thing from some big corporation on Amazon or wherever it might be, you're actually purchasing this thing, like I said, from an individual. You're looking at about $40 to get the Duo dock, and every time my sim is in my Surface Duo 2, I am grabbing my Duo dock and I'm placing it right here on my desk. Here it is right here. It's always on my table. Anytime it switches over, that charging thing that usually is just plugged into a phone, immediately is plugged into this and it sits there. Well, today we have something quite exciting to talk about because the creator of the Duo dock, there was a bit of my dog's fur floating through the air because that is the world I currently live in as she is shedding for the summer. The creator of the Duo dock reached out to me and said, Shane, I have something interesting that you might like to see, and it is this. The Z-Dock 4. This is effectively a Duo dock for the Galaxy Z Fold 4, and it is, of course, also $40. Now, the one that they sent me is slightly different in that it was before it had the holes in it for the pin. You can see there, they're actually using, it appears, a Surface pin as a stand-in, but they've basically given you a slot there to put your S pin wherever you might want it. The one they sent me, like I said, that had not been a thing yet. They asked me what could potentially be added or changed about the dock, and that's, I think, something I mentioned. I may have said something like people really like their S Pen with their Z Fold, and then they had to take it from there and decide how exactly to implement something like that, so good on them for doing that. Luckily for me, I don't actually use my S Pen like at all, so I'm cool with the fact that mine does not have any holes in it for the pen. I think most people with the Z Fold and an S Pen are probably going to benefit from that being there. That being said, let's take a second and let's look at the Z-Dock 4, and then we'll take a deeper look at what you can do with it beyond just dropping your Z Fold into it to charge, because it's actually fairly versatile. So this is my Z-Dock 4 in white. As you saw on their website, the other ones will have places in them to accommodate your Surface pin, but mine does not have that, which is totally fine. It's relatively large, but I find that makes it nice and stable. On the bottom side, you have these little rubberized feet, which make it so that it's not going to slide around on your desk. I'm pushing very, very hard to make that happen. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to fall over. I really like the little touch of having this line in the middle, because what that does is it makes it really nice and easy to line your Z Fold up just like that. A little bit of pressure up top and you are now dropped in. And of course there is the USB-C port here on the side. You're just going to plug your charger or your USB-C hub into that and you're off and running. But speaking of a USB-C hub, let's take a second, rearrange, and I'll show you what that would actually be like. So what I have here sort of haphazardly thrown together is this Ugreen USB-C hub, which is plugged into a charging brick. It's also plugged in HDMI and then USB-A to C for charging into this WiMAXit portable monitor. There's also a USB-A dongle, which is running this mouse and this keyboard. Now, what would you do with this? Well, let me show you. Let's take my Z Fold 4 and let's drop it into that dock, and we'll unlock it and watch what happens here. We are now showing, of course, there is a card reader on that USB-C hub, which is also working, but we are also now connected to an external display, which is now running Samsung DeX, and my mouse and keyboard, of course, are functioning exactly as they should be. I'm able to type, browse around, do whatever I want with this external monitor. And like I said, it's a little bit of an ugly setup because I've just kind of done it quite quickly for this purpose. But look how nicely that's working. And as soon as I'm done, I can pop this thing out of the dock. It all disconnects and I'm on my way. So as I said earlier, this sample was supplied to me free of charge, and as always, no money changed hands for this review. This is not a paid promotion. This is simply a product that I really appreciate, and I'm now really happy to have a version of with my Z Fold 4. If you want to pick up one yourself, I'm going to drop a link in the description down below to that. Again, big thanks to the guys for sending it over to me to bring this video to you. I'll see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.